Hi everyone. My name is Brad Kelly. This is my AEP 879 video number 5. During the last couple of weeks here, I was able to get a few more activities done. So I think that puts me up around 19 so far for the semester. First activity that I took part in was a site council meeting here at Hayes High School. Lasted from about 5:30 to 6:30 roughly. I think we went a little over an hour, but for the most part, the majority of the meeting took about an hour. Kind of this as a secondary level, and ISLIC standard number 4, functions 2 through 4. Basically, the purpose of this site council meeting was basically to get people from different walks of life, so to speak, within our community together and basically kind of share information about what's going on in their world. The majority of the time, though, was spent about talking about Hayes High and our students and what's going on in our building. But we had people from Fort Hays there, which was the university, obviously. We had business members in the community. We had parents there that run like our academic booster club along with our athletic booster club. We had secretaries here at the high school, and we also had teachers, and our head principal was also there. I think the good thing about site council meetings is that it obviously gives people a chance to kind of find out firsthand what's going on in our building, some of the good things that our students are doing and taking part in. Also, it kind of lets people know about what's coming up. We spent some time talking about scholarship deadlines. We do have counselors that attend the site council meetings as well, so we're able to talk about like testing, like ACT, like I said, scholarship opportunities, and then like our academic booster club and our athletic booster club is able to give reports on what's going on their side of things too, and they can talk about financial reports and those sorts of things that they're going with. Kind of the bad thing about site council is if you're not really in the loop, so to speak, you might not really know that these site council meetings go out. They are emailed out, but they're not emailed out separately. Basically, once a week our high school sends out a Hayes High happenings basically pamphlet or email to parents in our district, and if you don't scroll all the way to the bottom, you don't see some of the upcoming events, and site council's on that. So once again, it's kind of one of those things where I don't think enough people know about site council meetings, and if they did, I think we'd have more attendance at those than what we actually do. But overall, it was a good experience and a good opportunity to learn how to interact with community. Activity 2, I worked and I helped supervise most of our winter athletic programs and game day activities. So I work every single basketball game that we have here at Hayes, but I decided I'd just go ahead and pick one night and count that as one of my activities. A night for basketball here at Hayes High basically starts with our freshman games at 4 o'clock, and then our JV and varsity games starting at 6. So it's a long evening. I mean, basically starts right after school. Some preparing for the games actually start a little bit before that, because usually freshman teams will show up to our building before school's actually out. So we have to make sure that we have keys and everything available, so those teams from other towns can get into their locker room and start getting prepared for their games at 4. Also, just some activities that we do help making sure that table workers, clock workers, bookkeepers, officials all had drinks, something to eat if they needed it, making sure that parents and our student body isn't maybe getting out of control, making sure everybody's staying up to what our school policy is on sporting activities and those sorts of things. So once again, I counted that as a secondary level activity. ISLIC Standard 3, functions 1 and 4. For my third activity, we have some friends. My wife and I have some friends that have some young children, or in this particular activity, it was one child, I guess, that is going into kindergarten next year. And this student has been on an IEP for a couple of years, really ever since he turned age 3. And he's been in preschool now for 2 years. Really, the IEP for this student is simply because of his speech delay. Hasn't quite picked up language yet and mispronounces some letters and those sorts of things. But other than that, there's nothing wrong with the child or anything like that. But the parents thought it was a good idea to put this child into preschool at a really early age to try and get him caught up, so when he did enter kindergarten, he would be ready. And basically this IEP meeting was to kind of address that, because he is turning 5 this spring, so that means next fall he'll be attending kindergarten for the first time. This IEP meeting took about an hour to complete. I counted this as an elementary level activity, and it was ISLIC Standard number 2, functions 1, 3, and 5 is kind of what I focused on when looking back at this activity. Once again, we had the principal there, the preschool teachers were there, language teacher was there as well, along with school psychologists, and then some other Head Start teachers that work closely with the Head Start program and the Pre-K program here at Hays. But the positives of this activity was, obviously it's something that I'm not around a whole lot teaching at the secondary level, so it was fun to be able to sit in and kind of listen to how these IEP meetings work at the elementary level, considering that I'm fairly familiar with how IEP meetings work at the secondary level. One thing I noticed, and I don't know if this was really a downfall or not, but one thing I noticed was it seemed like the paperwork on these IEPs for young children, or at least this young child, was really lengthy. A lot of the IEPs that I've had with students at the secondary level have been, fairly specific to the point, haven't necessarily been that long, but there was a lot of stuff that was covered in this IEP, from language development, motor development, and everywhere in between. So it was a good experience. Like I said, no big downfalls with this one besides just the amount of paperwork that goes into it. I think it would be a little overwhelming for parents to look through all that and to understand all that. But other than that, it was enjoyable to sit in. So those are my 3 activities for the last couple weeks, and look forward to seeing what you guys have done as well. Thanks.